have a new category this year. Best film ever made by a human being. I would like to say to all the people out there who told me not to make this movie.
Chaka Khan.
Who said no to me when I asked them for money, who wouldn't even read the script or return a simple phone call. To my favorite teacher at film school, whose parting advice to me was to try and find a job somewhere teaching Spanish at a women's college.
Chaka Khan.
And to Dolores Del Sordo, the girl I loved, I really loved in high school, who left me for a junior varsity football player.
Chaka Khan.
To all these people, and many more, I would love to say thank you. I can't. Because what I really feel like saying is go!
Oh, no. Obviously, we just lost the satellite feed. That sucks.
You are now listening to Extreme Cinema with Andrew Legank and David Lawler.
Welcome to our second installment of Extreme Cinema, profiling the filmmaker Eric the Red.
Styling and profiling with Eric the Red.
So, as is the course for Extreme Cinema, we have to delve into the more unpleasant aspects of the Eric Red story. Because,
this unpleasant, it wouldn't be Extreme Cinema.
There you go. Extremely unpleasant cinema. Simply awful.
Yeah. That's what we do.
But this is a story that's hard to find. I mean, like, usually if you pop, Eric Red doesn't really go into the filmmaking lexicon, as it were. The only reason we're doing this is because, like Andrew suggested it, because of the, he made a handful of really good movies. And then when you look at it, you look up Eric Red on the Wikipedia entry, there's like one line, I think, in here where it says Red was found to be at fault in a car accident that caused 2 deaths after he drove his truck into a crowded bar in Los Angeles on May 31st, 2000. After the accident, Red apparently exited his vehicle and attempted suicide by slitting his own throat with a piece of broken glass. And Red survived the incident, was taken to the hospital under an alias and released weeks later. No criminal charges were brought, but a jury in a civil suit found that he had acted intentionally. The suit awarded over $1 million to the families of the 2 men killed in the accident and was appealed to state and federal courts, which confirmed the original jury finding. That's the paragraph in the Wikipedia. There is an exceptional, well-written, and lengthy piece published by LA Weekly. It's unfortunate because the LA Weekly's website is terrible. It's all pop-up ads and videos of commercials. It's what I call a ram sucker.
I do have I find that article to be manipulative.
It's manipulative, but
it sets up it sends up my heck. Look, it's obvious that something went down here. It's obvious he got away with something. Like I get that, and I'm not trying to defend him, but that article is really pulling out everything it can to make you believe just about anything shitty that they can pull out about Eric Red. And I really...
Well, we debated the veracity of the article, but I contend that most of the information in the article was based on public record.
Yeah, there's a lot. They pull out the differing stuff between the wife's testimony and his testimony. They had a contentious divorce. That doesn't mean
true.
anything. So they could pull that out and they use that to try and convince you of other things.
They're setting up a psychological groundwork for him.
And then when they use the he says he was setting up a movie with Pam Anderson and then they start talking about how there was no deal with Pam Anderson. Of course there wasn't a formal deal with Pam. I mean, come on, really? So we use
Pam,
that.
what do you think of my
We
script?
use that. It was like he couldn't even tell the truth about his deal with Pam Anderson that he didn't have. Come on, it's just bullshit. They're just trying too hard to build a case.
But I will say that with the article, as far as the article was concerned, I agree with the idea of placing the sympathy on the victims.
I agree with that too. And if they had been straight
comment for the article,
if they had been straightforward in how they built their case against him, I would have been a lot more sympathetic to their cause. I think that they tried to use too many things, and it makes me I've been reading biased fake news media for a very long time, and it sets off my bullshit detector when they start like using things that aren't
Well, what do you
really
what do
true.
you think? Well, for me, first before I ask you what you think, I just want to say,
Yeah.
because he refused to comment for the article, it's kind of his own fault if he comes off as obtuse or confused or evil.
Well, that doesn't give them
He tried
right
to assert his own
make
victimhood,
shit up.
according to the court documents. He was trying to say that he was the victim or something.
Yeah, no, and he's definitely. I mean, from
I mean, what do you think? What do you think really? What was the? According to witnesses and everything, he kind of looked out of it.
it sounds to me like he had some kind of psychotic break, and
yeah, I agree.
and now if he's been treated, we don't even know if he's been treated for it. He's trying to weasel out of getting any of having any repercussions for what happened. And
yeah, there's that.
now there's also
I think the whole moving from one state to another to avoid some kind of
that's the monetary penalty. Yeah, but I mean, look, there has to be more of a reason. That's another thing that stuck out at me. There has to be more of a reason that criminal charges were not brought here. There has to be more of a reason than that. Like the civil suit is a much lower bar for them to find fault. All right.
Well,
it's not reasonable doubt. It's I forget what.
But you will remember that OJ had to pay.
Yes, OJ had
in civil proceedings after he was found innocent.
Now,
or not guilty,
obviously, Eric Red found it.
Sometimes sometimes that's your only recourse is to go through civil.
Indeed, yeah.
Channels.
And Eric Red found some sort of loophole in that, which is not the nicest thing, but it doesn't sound like he has the money to pay anyway.
No, yeah. He went through the divorce. He lost a lot of money anyway.
Yeah.
He was living high, and he was probably thinking he could just continue to work or something.
If you listen to these people, the way they describe it is like he's Steven Spielberg or something. Like this is not Steven Spielberg. This is not a guy that is protected by big Hollywood. This is some independent filmmaker that nobody really gives a rat's ass about.
Yeah, I wonder if Spielberg has a body count.
Yeah, if he did, you wouldn't know about it, probably. I mean...
Well, we talked about this as well. I told you, and you agreed with me.
Yeah.
I said, if I did this, I wouldn't be able to function. I wouldn't be able to do anything.
I wouldn't either.
After an incident like this, I would sit in a room all day, every day, just staring out a window.
For all we know, that might be what he's doing, but he still doesn't want to pay $1 million to anybody. I mean...
He wants to work, though. I mean, he wrote a script, which is kind of...
That was... Yeah.
Maybe it's just in his head. I mean, what did you think about that?
Yeah, it's a little messed up. Yeah, the script that he wrote, but again, that comes from that source. Who knows when he wrote that script?
Right.
I mean, I just
had you you're a writer.
Yeah.
I'm a writer. We're both writers.
Yeah.
Now, had you were there incidents in? I mean, like all work is autobiographical in a way. I don't like what they did in the article by kind of comparing his work with his life. That's a little unusual, but it is in the back of his head. As writers, everything we do, no matter how crazy or insane it is on paper, a lot of it comes from personal experience.
That's true.
There are some things that we do, some people that we've known in our lives, and they tend to be part of what we do, what we construct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
yeah,
and our fantasies and things, and it's entirely possible that if he did indeed have some kind of psychotic break, that he could have been acting out something that was subconsciously written into his screenplay. That doesn't mean I don't know what they're trying to get at, like he's trying to profit off it or something, like he's making profit while not paying the people that were awarded the judgment. I don't know.
Is it possible that he is truly, in the truest sense of the word, is he a tortured artist?
I think it's possible. I mean, look, for me, it's hard for me to imagine this guy being some kind of cold-blooded killer that just went and did this and decided to get away with it.
Yeah, I don't think he would ever do that again. Obviously,
if somebody was to be a cold-blooded killer, would this be the way? I mean, and he's not like some spoiled brat Hollywood kid that like, well, if I did this, I'll just get away with it because I'm me. Like he's this is
but he was
the director of
tooling around in a car.
Yeah,
but he was driving around in a car with a suspended license. He shouldn't have been doing that.
Well, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But who hasn't done that? I've done that too.
You?
I have.
Bad boy.
I know.
This is why I don't drive.
Yeah.
This is why I get out of the way of cars. And ever since those movies, I'm very conscious of cars around
I
me.
don't think I'm in a
But
wayside
yeah,
predator.
he went through some really rocky times. His wife at the time was in Body Parts, actually. A very attractive woman, but really not an actress or anything. He just kind of threw her in there because he was directing the movie.
Right.
But he had a child with the woman, and he went through a bitter, brutal divorce. He had visitation rights and partial custody of his child,
Yeah.
but he lost all his money. So he probably had no direction or no purpose, and this happens a lot with creative types. You lose the money, you kind of have to be kind of a little bit crazy anyway to be creative. So it might just push him over the edge, and I can understand that. I really seriously can understand that. I can identify with that.
To an extent, yeah. I mean, I can't identify with mowing down pedestrians or anything like that. That's just insane. I mean, it's hard for me to really put it out. I distrust the media source and how they wrote their article. I don't want to sound like I'm defending what he did. But it's hard for me. It's hard for me to imagine him just doing this on purpose. I can imagine him wanting to get away with it on purpose, wanting to get away without paying $1 million. I can imagine that.
I can see the juicy, sexy notion of comparing his work to what he did because it's very similar.
Yes, and it's hard to not. Yeah,
it's hard not. He doesn't write movies about bunny rabbits,
right? He writes movies about cars killing people.
Yes,
he does. It's kind of a running theme in all of his stuff is mowing people down with cars and shit. I mean, draw and quarter. Jennifer Jason Leigh with a fucking semi. Shit like that. This is what he's done in his whole career. So it's hard to not make that.
And yes, you're right.
Parallel.
You're right. It is sensationalistic.
Yeah.
The way it was written, but he might at the very least be emotionally unstable.
Yeah.
I don't think, and what's more, it's unfortunate too because I don't think he'll ever work again. I really don't. He might try to get projects together, but I don't think he'll ever work again. He did a couple of movies. He did he was nowhere near the kind of potential that he had early in his career.
No, but he did 100 Feet in 2008. And that's actually.
Do you know anything about that one?
I got a copy of it and I haven't watched it. It doesn't look very good, but it's with Famke Janssen.
Oh, Famke.
Yeah, and he directed and wrote that. I don't know what kind of financial success, if any, it saw. It doesn't look
might be
it.
like a direct-to-video or type of thing.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's let me see. Is there anything on the IMDb? $10 million budget.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess these days that's not.
Yeah, these days that's not that's what they spend somehow. I don't know. What do they eat it with craft service food or something?
It was it was the food budget, right?
Yeah,
there.
because seriously, this is a movie that takes place entirely in an apartment, and they need $10 million to do that. What are they doing with it? Are they burning money?
Unions. Unions. I don't know. Other than that, I don't think there's anything more to discuss about Eric Red. It's a tragic ending to, what could have been a brilliant career.
It is. It's and it's unfortunate that things went.
And no matter what he does, his history will always be about that.
Yeah, his legacy will forever be tainted by this for sure. And my heart goes out to the people that were hurt. I mean, that's just. Horrible.
It's terrible, but I'm glad we had a chance to talk about this because I don't think anyone else is.
Yeah.
In level-headed way, as we do.
If you want to call it that, I don't know. Other people might not see it that way.
These guys are talking about Eric Red.
Who are these guys?
Well, that concludes this the second part of the Extreme Cinema experience, if you will.
Extreme Cinema experience.
Oh, that is awesome. I like that. I don't know why I'm getting turned on right now, but. Thanks again, Andrew, for doing this. It's been a long time. We're back. We're going to do more. And you just dropped something.
I did. I just dropped the level. Yeah.
He just dropped it. He dropped the level.
Drop the level. It's level drop.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. And
Good night.
Say good
And
night.
good night.
And have a pleasant tomorrow.
Yes, have a pleasant. What it is, what it shall be, what it was.
Very good.
You have been listening to Extreme Cinema with Andrew Legang and David Lawler.